Welcome back to another episode of Elevated Dialogue here on the Unkle Junior Network. I am the Unkle Junior, and with me today we have none other than Victor Viziant, Mr. Accountable Masculinity, the two-time best-selling author, and all the way up the top with his hair slicked back today, Mr. Antoine, the other artist, Christopher. What y'all up to today, gentlemen?
Good, man. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Just making progress that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Well, hey, Vic, take a before we even get started, man, take a couple of minutes or so to plug your show. I know you went live this morning. I was at work, and I know you've been working on Code Talk a little bit. Well, not a little bit, but I know you've been behind the scenes working on some things. So just tell us a little bit about Code Talk.
All right. So Code Talk is the Coffee and Blunts morning show, man. Like where we have discussions where we talk about, making things make sense. That's the running theme. No matter what we discuss, it has to make sense. And a lot of times, like social media has gotten us to the point where, or most people to the point where they can't have a conversation without a level of defensiveness that, derails the conversation. So, more people probably have a better way of articulating their message in the moment. Some have it in writing and some have it in some other way, shape, or form. So Code Talk is a blend of all of that. And I just want to be the first conversation that makes sense in the day.
There you go.
Like it. So tell the folks who listening exactly what time you're on each week.
Every week, Wednesday morning, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, 9 a.m. on the East Coast. What else? And I usually have it scripted for about 2 hours or so because I expect some kind of spillover. But for the most part, we run for at least an hour and a half. And depending on how engaged the audience is, we'll go a little bit longer. So, that's where you can find us. I'm dropping the link right now for today's episode that aired earlier this morning. And yeah, so join the conversation, be part of the first conversation that makes sense in the morning. Come over to Code Talk, Coffee and Blunts in the morning.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first, or second, or third. Who knows? But with that being said, Antoine, what you got going on in your life?
I'm working on getting my next project together, which is about. It's going to be something totally different that I hadn't done in a long time, dealing with cartoons. So I'm looking forward to doing that. I'm just putting that together now. Yeah, very exciting. And I'm going to say it on air. I'm working on the sketches.
Oh man, some of the sketches from 2021.
Yes.
I mean, the ones, are they going to be done?
Yes. I said yes. God damn it.
Okay. You've been saying yes 2.5 years.
I know, right? Ain't seen nothing yet.
Nothing.
Don't worry, you're gonna see it. You're gonna love them.
All right, I'm taking your word for it.
Yep.
At the end of the day, that's all you can do.
Hey, TJ trying to get on already, man.
Is he?
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Shout out to Real Bravado Network.
So can he must have read my mind, man. I just ain't hit the link. Hey man, I'm about to send it in a minute, man. Hold on.
Look,
hold on. Real quick before I drop the link. I do want to give a shout out to Real Bravado Network. He's always came over here and supported this channel, this network, everything like that. So, brother, I really appreciate it. Also appreciate everybody who is here tonight, whether you're in the live chat, watching the replay, in the chat, whatever it is, what platform you're on, it don't matter. So I appreciate everybody being over here this evening. And we are about to get into this topic in a couple of minutes. And with that being said, I'm just going to start off with this. We're talking about navigating life's crossroads, strategies when you're feeling stuck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop this first question, have y'all gnaw on it for a quick bit. And then after that, then while y'all doing that, I'm going to drop the link. So ladies, I mean, not ladies, I work with women all day long, folks. So excuse me. With that being said, let's talk about some stuck stories. Was there ever a time in your life where you felt stuck?
Yeah.
And if so, explain it. I'm going to
Meaning, are you talking stuck in work or stuck
Stuck
When
anywhere, where you stuck in life, where you stuck in your job, just a place where you was like, man, I don't know what I'm supposed to do right now. It's like you may have a vision or you may have a direction that you want to go, but you're not sure which way to go. Or you may just be sitting around on the couch doing nothing.
This is a good conversation right here, starter.
Yeah, you know, I could say I got stuck in procrastination, meaning I wasn't I wasn't motivated. You know, I got comfortable, but I wasn't motivated. Like, um, I have to do something. I know I have to do it, but I wasn't motivated. And not because of the project. I just wasn't motivated. You know, you have that. I just wasn't into it. I just wasn't into, and it was wrong place to be because, you know, I felt that little depression coming on, saying, man, I should be more motivated than what I feel right now. You know, yeah.
I would say, as a writer, you go through different spaces where you get stuck. And I'm pretty sure Antoine can probably relate to this, even though he paints.
Yeah, yeah.
Writing is the same thing because you're trying to articulate a thought in a way that you hope somebody sees it off the top. And if they don't see it, you hope they had a capacity to accept your explanation of it because you're always there to clarify, right? Mm-hmm. So when you're thinking on both sides from the user and the production side of it, you're going to get stuck because that's what problem solving is. It's like you have to get stuck in order to solve the problem. So I get stuck in writing all the time. You know what I'm saying? How to arrange, you know what I'm saying, my thoughts so I don't lose the reader. So I make my overall point. Don't lose my narrative. Don't contradict myself. It's not easy. So I think when you're trying to be objective in the completion of something, that's where I get most of my experiences where I'm stuck. But when it comes down to just doing things that benefit me individually, I'm pretty robotic about certain routines. You know what I'm saying? That fit what's important to me. Because at a minimum, I can get up, go work out, go to bed early until I figure it out.
Yeah. I can relate to that.
I get that. Hey, Real Bravado, I just dropped the link, and anybody else that want to come up and chime in on this conversation, feel free to hit that link. It's in the chat. Also, with that being said, I remember a couple of times where I was stuck. I remember being stuck in a relationship before, and I also remember being stuck in a career. I remember being in the military and trying to decide if I wanted to stay in or if I wanted to get out, and, when you have certain amount of time in the military and you have wife and you have kids and you may or may not have education, you've been used to doing a certain career for a certain amount of time. And then you're around all of these people that are constantly telling you, hey, man, if you get out, all you're going to be doing is flipping burgers, different things like that. You know what I mean? So sometimes when you're young, that information gets in your head and you start considering, hey, should I stay in the Army or should I get out? And that doesn't necessarily mean the Army. It could be any career or anything that, you may be doing. I know people all the time are always contemplating whether or not they're going to stay on the job or whether or not they're going to jump out there and become an entrepreneur and do it like that way. But I would say for me, one of the times where I felt really stuck was just trying to figure out whether or not I wanted to stay in the Army or not. Eventually I made a decision. We'll get in more into detail about, that as we walk through this conversation, how I got out of some of that stuff. But, that was really hard right there, because like I said, you got a wife and kids and stuff. You like, because part of me, you want to be like, look, man, I'm done with this. I'm tired. I'm ready to be out. But on the other hand, you got to think about, okay, I'm also the provider. I also got to put food on the table. So, and provide a roof over my family's head. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring up the Real Bravado, bring up TJ from the Real Bravado Network. Brother, I really appreciate you being here. Take a couple minutes to introduce yourself to the audience. tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and a little bit about your channel and where they can go and find out more about your content.
Well, fellas, thanks for letting me come up here. Can everybody hear me real good?
Yes, sir. How you loud and clear?
Oh, okay, great. Well, I'm TJ at the Real Bravado Network. Well, over at the Real Bravado Network, we cover Black issues, which covers a lot of stuff. So that's anything from relationships to politics to social to sports to whatever. So anything that affects us directly is what we cover on the Real Bravado Network. And you can just always catch me over there on YouTube. I'm still trying to develop my other social media platforms, which you guys know how it is when you're trying to grow and build something that's just, and you're a one-man band, trying to get it right. I'm focused on this YouTube channel. So I'm in the dark, guys, because and actually in about a little over an hour, I'm going to be on This Might Be Risky's podcast. They invited me up to do some stuff. So I saw you guys with this subject, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get all over this.
Yes, sir. Well, you know what? Let's roll with you. Keep it moving. Then where we're actually, if you hadn't finished, if you not, then by all means go ahead and continue. And I apologize if I cut you off. But if you are, then continue on with this topic and maybe a conversational time in your life where you were stuck.
I mean, I can say that now.
Yeah.
To a degree, a lot of times. A lot of people, well, let me say this. I've done about 4 or 5 streams where I talked about exclusively. And Victor, I think you might have been on one when I talked about, that people don't give a doggone about a Black man's struggle. And a lot of times we sit around here struggling, and a lot of times the struggle can be something as simple as feeling stuck at work. You're not progressing on your goal, or you're not progressing with your woman, or hell, you don't have a woman, or you got a woman, but you want another woman, but that feeling stuck at a crossroads, man, that's one heck of a battle, because that's a true internal war, because you can do you can do some damage to yourself when you're stuck because of the stuff that you tell yourself and the stuff that you allow to come in because of being stuck in whatever the situation that you're in. Now, and I know it varies from like when you're feeling stuck professionally, that has a different impact on you. But when you stuck at where you think you should be in life, that's the booger right there, boy. Yeah. I said oftentimes, men of our generation, if you're a Gen X or late Gen X or early millennial, a lot of us are just now coming into at the age of 38, between the ages of 38 and 45. Or I would say 30 to 50. Those of us in that bracket are just coming to the understanding that we were kind of screwed in a lot of our development. And then now you're thinking about it, you go, man, I'm like 15, 20 years behind. That's something to deal with, and how to, and when you try to process that, you can't process that with your woman because you don't understand it,
That's trauma.
But see, that's what we've talked about over here one time, and this is no disrespect to Antoine, and I'm talking about another brother too, Chris, who's on here, and all of us, we had a show a couple of weeks ago, and we kind of went around the horn and asked people when they kind of found their purpose, and a lot of us was in our late 30s and early 40s. However, Antoine on the other end, and like I said, this is no disrespect or shade to Antoine. This is just how he thinks. He thinks that there is a time, men shouldn't be trying to figure it out in their 40s and stuff. He's like, bro, you should have already figured it out. And if Antoine, if I'm wrong by any means, please cut in and clean it up from me. But he kind of thinks that men should already got it. But at the same time, it's like we didn't. I'm like you, I didn't get certain information until my late 30s and early 40s. So it wasn't that. It was like I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know I needed to know this information. So I made decisions without the information. And it wasn't until my late 30s and early 40s where I started to understand, oh snap, this was the missing piece right here.
Oh, and another
information.
Thing, before Antoine speaks too, sometimes you have the information and you don't have the other variables so you can actually employ the information. Sometimes you might know it, Because like a lot of the stuff that I know now that I've been able to employ later on, I wasn't able to do it until I got out of the army, because I was in Afghanistan or I was in Iraq. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting up here knowing a whole bunch of stuff, but I didn't have the relationships established that I can use the information. So people matter in that situation too.
But no, Antoine's. I've been using the quarter analogy a lot lately. You know, a quarter got a heads and the tails. They're two different sides, but still a quarter. So Antoine's correct. But men should have figured it out at least by your mid-30s what your purpose are. But the problem with black men is 80% of us have been raised in the homes exclusively with our mothers, and which our mothers. This is no shot to women, but they really have no genuine understanding of the value of having a purpose. Their purpose changes from moment to moment a lot of times, or it could be linked from guy to guy or whatever's making them feel good at that time. And they teach their sons how to swing that pendulum as well. So too many of us did not have fathers around. And I hate to admit this, guys, while I'm working on what I'm working on and talking about what I'm talking about, I am still at this old age trying to figure out what is my purpose, because I had no concept that's something I should have been focused on. I had no concept of that. I didn't have any concept of that until the last few years. So, and so many of us are in that situation. And I think the brothers that have come on the other side of that need to recognize that about the brothers that are trying to find it late. I mean, my philosophy is if you still wake up every morning, it's never too late to try to find to recorrect. You just ain't got a lot of more time left to do it, you know. And you gotta work with a sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And in my YouTube channel, the discussions that I'm having, the interactions, and the networking that I'm building, it's all about that journey, and I'm trying to do it quickly. You know,
but the thing is, you got to understand, like today with modern technology, YouTube, it's easier to find a mentor than when I was younger, when Vic was. It's easier. You have avenues today, right? And I just find people are so lazy that they want it to be handed to them. They want a hand to stick out and go, "Oh, come with me." Ain't gonna happen. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna spend your 30s, your 40s whining? Like I can't relate to whining. I relate to solutions and where you want to go. But too many people are trying to make it delicate on how to tell a black man to move your ass. It's like, move it. Nobody is coming to rescue you. And you can't use the victimhood mentality to blame the outside sources to slow you down.
The guys that are in their 30s now, absolutely, we can tell them that now. But take TJ back to his 30s. I'm 46. I gotta think about that. You take me back to my 30s.
Wait a minute, I don't know who's TJ. Sorry.
That's me.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I was looking. Sorry.
I even introduced you to TJ.
I did not know. Sorry.
Yeah, you take me back to my 30s. You know, and back in my 30s, this didn't exist. There was nothing for us to plug into. So TJ in his 30s is not the guy in the 40s saying, and I'm saying, you know, I'm not sitting around trying to wait for somebody to hand it out to me. Everybody that know me know that's not how I get down. And even the topics I say on the show, especially when I keep revisiting the topic that, yo, brothers, look, don't nobody care nothing about your struggle. You need to figure it out. You got to figure this stuff out. And it's on you to figure out. Now, there's a plethora of resources, and you got to figure out what lane of resources that you want to walk down, even if you got to go pay somebody for that.
Exactly. I mean, you should care about your struggles. Why do I care about your struggles? You're no use to me struggling. I don't need you. I think I need another anchor. Why? I'm as good as the company you keep, and you ain't good enough to be in my company. But people need to be told this. Like, you have to pick your game up. You want to be around a millionaire, you got to act like a millionaire. You got to present yourself like a millionaire so you can be a sponge to absorb what millionaires say. But you ain't gonna get it with that whole why me mentality. And too many people these kids today are walking around with this why me mentality, and most of them becoming millionaires on YouTube and all this shit with no knowledge in their brain once they leave YouTube. And I just find that people today are just, I wish my life was such a handout thing. But no, I'm glad it was a struggle in the beginning. I was fortunate enough to have two parents. Thank God I had my dad. I ain't gonna lie about that. But now these men today have no excuses, man. Like,
They
do
don't
not-
I would say it's not that they have an excuse, but they have a reason why they are where they are.
and how long you hang on to that?
Whether it's valid to me or you or anybody else, there is a reason. There is a reason why TJ didn't get the information until this time. There is a reason why I didn't get it until this time. Coach and Roland both said they were in their late 40s and stuff when they got it. Chris just now getting it. We can't all be wrong.
No,
You know
you're
what I'm saying?
absolutely right. But
Like,
you gotta
we
give yourself a
didn't-
time.
It was just we didn't have access to the information. But if you look at me, Vic, TJ, Roland, Coach, Chris, ain't none of us over here whining or talking about no victimhood mentality. We are about going forward, and we are about holding people to a standard. So when we have these conversations, I don't necessarily like to keep going back there because that's not what we're up here doing. TJ has a YouTube channel. This is a YouTube channel. Vic has a YouTube channel. Coach has one. Roland has a whole bunch of TikTok. Chris just starting back up his table talk. We all are trying to progress forward. You know what I mean? Like, we're not the victimhood mentality people.
But you know, also you have to understand, you got to put a time limit on it. How long are you going to drag this on?
Like, there is no time limit.
You should put a time limit on when you want to succeed. You should, because you're gonna, next thing you know, you're old and gray and you can't do nothing. You have to put a time limit when you're gonna cut.
Hold on, I think I misunderstood. I thought you meant you got to put a timeline on. It's like you should go to a certain point and then stop.
No. You gotta put a timeline on how long you're gonna feel.
Reasonable expectations. I think the word is just reasonable expectations. You know, like when you look at it, because like once you get your rhythm, how long is it going to take before you actually bring, you know what I'm saying, your idea to fruition?
Yeah.
If that's it. And I understand what Antoine's saying on that, because he paints. He got deadlines to meet. Deadlines matter, and you got to give yourself a deadline.
You got to give yourself a deadline, man.
What's also interesting about the nature of this conversation, talking about being stuck, this morning's show on Coffee and Blunts was pick a struggle. Everybody got to pick a struggle. Like, if you believe that you're destined for something greater, then you gotta, you know what I'm saying, like, swallow your pride and ask for help. That's what picking a struggle kind of boils down to. So, like, if you stuck somewhere, you're gonna struggle while you're stuck, or you're gonna struggle trying to get out. So in some way, shape, or form, a concession has to be made that either A, you need help, you're doing the wrong thing, or you're not making the best use of your time. You know what I'm saying? So down the line, you're absolutely right. Everybody's right from their own perspective about this whole situation, is that when you're trying to find your way, any information is more helpful than the information you got that you got on hand. So what you do with the information determines what you really, really want. Somebody mentioned procrastination. I think that was you, Antoine.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I believe, like me, I'm very hard on myself about what procrastination looks like, because even when I'm not typing something, my head is typing something, and it's got to look a certain type of way in my head before it comes out in written form. You know what I'm saying? As a writer, because you're painting pictures with words, right? Yeah. So sometimes you have to get out of your own cycle of being hard on yourself. That's part of the reason why you're stuck too. That's true. I agree with that.
Yeah, I like everything that everybody said. Let me slide over here real quick and let's talk
about. I just want to say one thing, Garfield.
Go ahead, Antoine.
And it's going to make sense. You know, every day of your life is a struggle. It's a struggle to pay your rent, and it's a struggle to pay your bills. That's called life. That's not a struggle. That's called keeping a roof over your head. People call that a struggle. I'm like, what are you talking about? Then don't drive your car if you don't want to pay gas. Like, the normal things that people call a struggle, I'm thinking that's called life. Like, what are you talking about? A struggle is somebody going through something. A struggle is suffering from something. A struggle is trying to make ends meet tightly. A struggle is living paycheck to pay. Now we're talking struggle. But the everyday thing that people talk about on these networks about, oh yeah, you know, it's hard out. No, it ain't hard out there because you ain't working. That's why it's hard. You ain't putting in 100%.
I agree, Antoine. If you ain't working, it is going to be hard, and it is going to be a struggle. So how does being stuck affect your life. You know what I mean? We talk about it, so obviously it must affect somebody's life, or not we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
You get depressed. And I hate not having money. God damn, I hate not having money. I hate not being able to buy a damn Modelo beer or going out. Like, I have to go and watch how much I spend. No, I want that perfume. It costs $150. I want to be able to buy it. Like,
it affects your finances. Being stuck affects your finances.
Sucks.
And your quality of life.
I hate that. If I was a guy, I'd have 2 jobs if I was struggling. Just so when I do go out, I can afford it. But you're too damn lazy to do 2 jobs. And people are too damn lazy. I don't know why anybody would be content making a 9 to 5, 40,000 a year. If I was a woman, I wouldn't want you. Modern day life doesn't require that. I wouldn't want you as an average woman. If I'm hot and I'm a dime, shit, you're the last thing I'm looking at. I don't blame them. I do not blame them, man. If I was a woman, I want the best for my property. Shit. At $40,000, what are you doing for the rest of the day? There's so many avenues to make money. Get it up to at least 80. Then you're at least in a Beamer. Something. God damn. I just find people don't want to work hard anymore. They all want to be YouTube millionaires.
Well, not everybody's going to be a YouTube millionaire. Some people can't get $10 a week off of YouTube.
I'm getting nothing. And I'm still learning this shit.
Yeah. Like, I understand you talking about working, because let me tell you something. And I don't feel sorry for any guy that's in the hustle. I work from 8:30 in the morning to 4 in the evening, and then I clock out of there, and then I go work again from 6 p.m. to 7 in the morning. And
there you go.
That 12 hours overnight, that's 4 to 5 days a week. That regular job is a salary job, and then
there you go. See,
if I got some time, I ain't got no shame. I'm out there door dashing my butt off. I don't care. I need them dollars. I can't. My mood ain't right. If my look. I had to take off work the last couple weeks with some stuff going on with my daughter, and so I just had just enough money to cover my nut. That's unacceptable to me. To me, that's broke. Right? I was like, nah, because normally what I like to have is at least 2.5 times what it takes to cover my nut. That way I'm feeling comfortable.
Yeah, I'm with you.
But so I do not feel sorry. And I tell people this all. I like to tell the story. I tell people all the time. I'm a guy with 2 graduate degrees, and I remember I was at this organization. I was working for a college, and my entire department got laid off, including me. And I was the man, and I was the head of the department. We all got laid off. They shut the department down. They shut our department down, and everything else got laid off. I went and delivered auto parts for AutoZone for $6.25 an hour. You know how humbling that is, to go from an $80,000-$90,000 a year job to delivering auto parts, for $6.25 an hour. I had a wife and a home. There wasn't nothing that there was nothing that was too humbling for that, But a lot of guys don't understand, because listen, I keep going back to, you don't really get how bad it is for a guy when you're raised by a single mother, because you think things are okay. That's not okay. They might be okay for a woman, but they're not okay for you. And and a lot of us have internalized behaviors or mindsets or attitudes, or even, that is just not fit for a guy. And a lot of us don't know any better. And so right now we're out here trying to shake up and wake up a lot of guys to and let me tell you something. They fight you harder than the women trying to take accountability, because you're trying to tell them that their left arm isn't their left arm anymore.
Yeah, and you know what, teacher, I'm going to agree with you 100% on that. And I want to clear up something, because I missaid something, and I want to make clear.
Yeah.
When I said a woman shouldn't be with a guy making 45 or 50,000, I meant that's all he wants to make. If he's striving to do better, jump in on that, because he's going to do better. But if he's content at $45,000 to $50,000 a year, don't even bother with him, because that means his ambition is ended, and he's content with that little payroll. I wouldn't want to be with that. You got to keep aspiring as men in the modern day world, man. Come on. I say put yourself in a situation where you have to pay the bill. You want that Mercedes? You know what? Go out and buy it. If you know every paycheck is going to go there, go out and buy it so you can struggle your ass to pay the rest to eat. That'll move you to keep that car and move on better. You got to put yourself in situations, man. You have to.
And I think some of that, Antoine, it comes down to perspective and exactly what people want and the quality of life that they want for them. $45,000 in, Podunk, Mississippi is different than $45,000 in Atlanta. So, $45,000 in certain areas can go very far, especially if you are okay with living a regular boring life, not boring life, but a lower quality of life.
Within your means.
Yeah, within your means. There are some people who are okay with $45,000 and live great lives. So I think we can't just put, success and what's important on just money. And I think it's about not necessarily how much you make, but how much you control. You know what I'm saying? Yes, there are some things that men strive, but you gotta think like for certain people, like think about it and think about in some of those small cities, right? Where good, bad, or indifferent, they'll throw up a prison, right? And then uncle work at the prison, daddy work at the prison, brother work at the prison, grandpa work at the prison, everybody work at the prison. And everybody is making about $45,000 a year, but they living in trailers. They enjoying their life. They going out shooting, on the weekend. They all got family property and stuff like that. They riding dirt bikes and going mudding or whatever. Like, they're enjoying their life. They're not making $80,000 a year. They're enjoying their life, making $45,000 a year and enjoying their family and whatever that they got going on at that moment. So I know you like to sometimes talk about the importance of money, and I'm not disregarding anything that you say when it comes to that. But I also do want to point out that there's a whole different group of people who can still have a great life at 45,000. I know people right now who make less than $20,000 a year, and if you doubled their salary, bro, they be thinking they living like kings.
And that's good for the people. If you're saying that's the high end of where you live, 45,000, then you're living like charge. But then you got to be realistic in the partner you choose. That's all I'm saying. People have to be realistic in the partner they choose. If you make it 80 grand, you want an 80 grand woman. If you make him 45, don't expect to get an 80 grand woman. Ain't gonna happen. You have to be realistic. You have to be realistic in that. And I'm not saying that 45 is bad. I'm just saying if you're in the environment of $45,000 living like a king, you're used to the land. Don't expect a woman from the city to come and live on the land. I'm just saying be realistic in where you want to do and what you want to do in your life as a man. That's all. I think men should consistently be thriving. I don't think we should be content with nothing. I think we should always be elevating ourselves. Elevating. Just like the poverty rate goes up, we should be going up. And you don't want that dime costs money, and I don't blame her for wanting it. That's all I'm saying.
I hear you, Antoine. But before we continue real quick, I want to bring in the youngest man of the panel, Mr. Christopher McClellan, across the table. Welcome to the show, brother. How are you?
Happy belated birthday too, brother.
And happy belated birthday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're muted.
My fault. I said thank you and greetings. I appreciate it.
Hey, with that being said, we're gonna get back on topic. Huh?
Yes, that's me.
Greetings, sir. I've taken a gander at your platform on many occasions. It's necessary. I'll just say that. It is necessary.
Thank you.
And TJ, I don't take offense that you never bring me up. It's okay. Nobody wants me anyway. Only on the Unkle Junior Network. Vic barely raised me up. Vic barely.
I would have brought you on this morning, man.
I wish I had, you know what? I wish I had time. I would have done it too.
All right.
I was loving the show.
Chris, you just jumped in. I know Vic hadn't responded to this, but anybody else who want to jump on it, at least Chris and Vic, I want y'all to hit this. How does being stuck affect various aspects of your life? One of the things we've been talking about was the finances, and how finances, if you're stuck, it mess with your bag. I'm for one, I don't see how people do it. I don't see how people can lay around on the couch all day long with their pockets full of lint. I can't do it, but there are a lot of people who can do it. So I totally get the understanding and the concept when they talking about the finances and how being stuck can affect their finances. So what say you, anybody else who wants to chime in?
I would say sometimes being stuck messes with your confidence, like as a man. You understand what I'm saying? It's like you doing everything you're supposed to do, you grinding, you moving, you following the plan, and you still here. You understand what I'm saying? It's like that picture where you see the guy digging and then he stops right before he gets to the diamond because he gave up too quick, but he was doing what he was supposed to do, and then the other dude persevered and got to the diamond. It's like that. It's like, dude. And then you start questioning whether or not you're on the right path to begin with. Because then you start to think, I'm supposed to be further than this. I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do. I'm following the plan. Like, what is it? What's wrong? You start questioning yourself. It messes with your confidence, man, for real. It messes with your confidence. And that trickles down into everything else. Because if you're not confident as a man reaching where you're supposed to reach, you're not going to be confident in the gym, putting up weight. You're not going to be confident at your job doing what you're supposed to do because you're so worried about your plan failing. It trickles down into everything.
You can't even afford to go to the gym. You're looking at Planet Fitness, $10 a month. You're looking lucky.
Real quick, guys, speaking of the gym, let me give you a story that happened yesterday. And I'm telling you, now that you say that, right until you said that, I was holding a grudge with my personal trainer right until you said that. Let me tell you what this sucker did to me. So I'm struggling mightily at the gym, right? So I looked at the guy, and I mean, I'm telling you something. I really want to fight this dude. I'm telling you right now, I want to fight my personal trainer. I don't like this dude.
That mean he must be doing his job.
Right, he's doing what he is supposed to do.
I don't know what the hell he's doing, but I'm telling you, I want to fight this motherfucker. But anyways, so I looked at him. We were fussing about. I told him, and I meant it. It was a moment of weakness, and I meant it. I said, you have no idea what it takes for me to get in here every day. That sucker walked away from me. He just looked at me and walked away. I was like, what the?
Hey, there's a different degree of objectivity. See, when you in somebody else's space is complaining, where you just have to show up, and they probably had to come to the gym 5 clients in a row before you came in there.
Oh yeah, because mine is late.
So what happened?
Huh?
What happened?
What did he tell you?
Let me tell you something. I'm not proud. I packed up my stuff and I left.
maybe that's what it was for. Maybe it was the test to see how bad you really want it. I don't know.
I went back today.
Okay.
I went back today, and and then I went back today, and the workout was. I thought I was gonna die during that workout, and then I got even more angry. I'm already ticked off from yesterday. Then this today, I was doing stuff that I'm not even nowhere near fit to do. I was like, oh, this trying to make it personal.
Attitude ain't reps.
Man, I was
can't do no reps with your attitude.
I've been heated with this dude for 2 days, but that goes back to, even the best of us in moments like that gotta be reminded that, you know what I mean? You gotta do the work. It doesn't matter if it's hard or not. It don't matter if it's hard, and it don't matter. I'm paying the man not to be my friend, not for us to come up and have a good time. I'm paying for an expertise. And so, and that's sometimes the battle when you got inappropriate ways of looking at things because you were raised a certain way, that I know I'm consciously paying him this. I know I'm paying for the expertise, but man, to wrestle with that, especially when it's not been developed the right way over the period of time, and you're trying to develop it in real time. Let me tell you something. Right until you said that, man, I was literally holding it. Not that it just went away.
It makes sense because he's doing it. It's what your personal trainer is doing is what you paying him for. You understand what I'm saying? He's not there to be your friend, and that's a hard part. Not taking this stuff personal, man, because he has a job to do. It's not that he don't like you. It's not that he got a problem with you. It's just that you are paying him to do something. So you get in what you pay for.
Man, this brother's working my. And here's the thing, and He's good at what he's doing, and then I'm frustrated because I'm sitting there internally, I'm screaming at him. I thought I told you I only sleep 4 hours a day. I thought I told you I don't have all this extra time. And every time I tell him that, you know what he says to me? You got to find more time to do some stuff at home. That's what his response to me is. I'm going, I just told your ass that I work almost 20 hours a day, and then I spend 4 hours sleep. I cut out an hour to come here, so we're down to 3. So I'm, but I'm not.
I'm gonna give you a little tip right now.
Yeah.
I did 20 years in the Army. I retired. I trained soldiers for 16 of those 20 years. It's always time. Here's what I tell them: you watch your favorite TV show. When they have commercials, do some push-ups. On your way to the bathroom, do some push-ups. Just pick an exercise and do it. You know, and that's coming from someone who has trained people for many years. So he is right. You always find time. And like Chris said, that's what you are paying him to do. If you paid that joker for 6 months and you didn't see no results, you be mad. You be
then
like, man,
you can complain.
Trash, man. I ain't do nothing.
But a trainer can't control you taking the fork out of your mouth. Let's be real. You can work out with him all you want and not go home and take the fork out.
We ain't talking about that, Antoine.
Wait a
You got to divert the conversation. We talking about
can I say something? But can I say something, please, before we move on?
Yeah.
Hearing how we are talking about how it is to feel like we're stuck, I kind of believe that there's like this overarching, overbearing pressure that's put on us as Black men to do something. You understand what I'm saying? And when you stuck and you're doing what you're supposed to do, but you still stuck, you feel like you're not going to get to that place where you can actually produce and be valuable. You understand what I'm saying? It's like in order for us to have an opinion in our own community, we got to be doing something. And it's a lot of pressure. And that can actually cause you to get stuck because you're looking at the end game, but you think it's so far away. You understand what I'm saying? Am I bugging or do I make sense?
No, you putting like different expectations on yourself than other people can see. Because I think generally speaking, men that want to accomplish anything are going to be harder on themselves than other people could ever be on them. And I think that's one of the main things when you're feeling stuck is you start being hard on yourself. I got a problem with that because you want to be proficient in whatever it is that you do, whatever you give your time to. You want to be efficient with your time too. So when you block off some time to do something and you hit a point that has you stuck, it's frustrating. And then you wonder if you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, you wonder if you're doing it for the right reason. If you got a skill and you're producing and you're getting, a level of validation where you are and you're not feeling it, number one, you got to still keep producing, and you may have to consider changing your environment so you can be more effective in whatever it is that you're working on. Most people stay stuck, not because of their talent, but the area where they're displaying their talent.
And a trainer should be hearing two things: him counting and you breathing. That's it. The rest is work.
And my ass be breathing.
That's it. And if you don't get results in 3 to 6 months, you got to
get another one.
Get another one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, Chris, to your point, go ahead.
But feeling stuck can produce. I mean, I'm just kind of thinking this through right now while we're having this conversation about feeling stuck. My frustration at him could be because I feel stuck. You know what I mean? Maybe my objectivity about, his role, my role, what I'm doing, the expectations, if I can meet the expectations, my failure for letting myself for 20 years get out of conditioning and shape, you know what I mean? So, all of that can play a part of being stuck. Now, I'm out here doing something about it. I'm not just sitting here in the mud and just going, woe is me, what can I do? I'm trying, even if this is not something that's going to work or this path isn't going to work. If this path doesn't work, I'm going to try another path because where I want to be is my birthday's in May. I'm hook or by crook. I'm dropping 100 pounds by May.
Ooh.
There you go.
Hooker by crook. I'm doing that hooker by crook. And so, you know, which has had me reimagine my meals, which is reimagine, you know, me getting a different personal trainer, you know, different habits, you know, trying to realign my, you know, the reason why I haven't cut them all already is because anytime I've been in situations or around other men that I've had this level of emotional rage towards, it turns out that person was the person that needed to be there.
Yep, I like that.
So I'm old enough to recognize that now. You know what I mean? Once upon a time I couldn't recognize that. That okay, he might be. Let me just, you know, give it the time. Now, you know, I might I might be seeing, but you know, when I get to I've had men in my life that have been this hard on me, this whatever. And I've learned so much out of that situation. And I asked for an older man for a reason. I asked for I said, you need to have a trainer that's over 38 years old because I know me. I'm gonna run roughshod over anybody that I look at as a kid. I know me. You know, my daughter calls me a bully. I know me. You know, my sweet 8-year-old baby who loves her daddy to death calls me a bully. So I know that. So I need men who will give back what I give back, and probably a little bit more. You know, I know what I require. Mm-hmm. But you know, feeling stuck, man, that can, like I said earlier, it can mess with you, and it can hinder you and it might be based in some trauma, like Victor said. I don't know.
Man, that feeling stuck piece is just a trick. It's a trickle effect. Because when Chris came in, he initially said confidence. And then when you erode confidence, everything else falls behind it. Like what TJ was talking about was really motivation to push past. What Garfield and I relate to, because both of us was in the service, is that we've had the discipline journey on the front side of our, you know what I'm saying, of our present journey. And we've been able to respect that nobody is dedicating a lot of time to you that doesn't care about you in some way, shape, or form. And I think men that want to become something appreciate tough love and concern. That, I think that's the part that gives us that satisfaction that we accomplished something that was difficult to do. Yeah. And it was worth doing, because if it's not difficult, then you're not going to respect it. Like men don't respect anything that can't kill them, can't make them stronger, or can't hurt them in some way, shape, or form. Everything else is just cute. It's like that. There's a reason why they don't call a lion or a tiger cute. They'll call a tree frog cute. They'll call a pug cute. They'll call a Frenchie, one of them little ugly dogs. They'll call those cute. Anything that's ugly, they'll call it cute. That's the only upgrade. But it doesn't go from ugly to handsome, you know what I'm saying, without work. So some things are just stuck where they are. And human beings, fortunately, human beings have the intelligence, the human capacity of the body to make a decision and change their mindset and make their bodies reflect their mindset, make the outcomes reflect their mindset too. Because you don't have any excuses, because you don't have any people coming to rescue you anyway. So if you want to be something, that's going to be you overcoming the struggles that you have to pick. Because there's a struggle in the journey of, you know what I'm saying, accomplishing something. And without a struggle, you're going to be stuck.
And do you really want to help somebody stuck? If you do it, you really want that anchor? Like, really? You really want that anchor?
I do.
But see,
what for?
Antoine, here's the thing.
What for? Like,
what'd you think, TJ?
Here's the thing. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, you're not. Here's the thing. Wait a minute. Hold on. You're right. As long as that person that you see something in and is willing to help isn't doing anything or taking any of the help that you've given them. I'm a testament of being stuck, not knowing where I'm going, because I'm getting the information that Garfield and Vic got 30 years too fucking late. And that's
You gotta
another
make sure.
conversation that don't nobody want to have.
Nope. TJ already said.
Yeah, he came
started
in.
off. He
That,
came
that's been
saying
the
the same
enduring.
thing you saying. He
That's
just
So-
not getting it too.
So we're on the same page.
Yeah,
because
that's been the
I'm
enduring
but
struggle.
hold on, no. But I'm a product of this, and I'm also seeing 1, 2, 3 men, one maybe, and then I got Coach and Roland and Doc, who see something in me and who is willing to help me get unstuck. You understand what I'm saying? So you can't say that. You can't say, why would you not help somebody who's stuck if he knows he's stuck and he's seeking the help? Now, if he's not, that's when I agree with you and I say leave him where he sits. But if he's doing the work, the people that are going to have to be in his life for him to progress are going to be there.
Okay, and I agree with you on that. Keywords, doing the work. I'm saying if the person's doing the work, fine, I'm cool with that. But do you really want to take on a new load? Like,
Nope. I don't think nobody up here
I'm
wants to
just
do
saying,
that.
like, you can't save everybody. And how? Let me give you a time limit. How long are you gonna be feeling sorry for yourself? Like, how long are you not gonna work? Like, how much time do you need before you start doing it? You need 2 weeks? Okay, I'm gonna come back and see you in 2 weeks. Until then, don't bother me. I'll come back in 2 weeks when you're ready. Struggle over there. I'll come back in 2 weeks when you're ready.
I agree with you, Antoine.
Yeah.
None of us is willing to take a lot of time and effort into helping and supporting someone who doesn't want to be helped. I will reach out the arm. I may go back a second or third time. I may wait a certain amount of time and then go back because I may love that person. I may see something in that person, but at the same time, I'm not going to change my lifestyle. And I'm not going to let them be an anchor. What I give to somebody is what I have to give. So if I'm helping Chris or you or TJ or Vic or whoever, you know what I mean? It's because I want to, and it's because I have it to give. So that's the other side of it. You know what I mean? If someone is giving, it's because they have it to give. But like you said, and like Chris said, if you are not willing to help yourself, I'm cool with sitting back here and taking my talents elsewhere to go help somebody else who wants to be helped.
And here's another aspect of that.
I'm going to ask you straight up. What did you do with the last thing I gave you? What did you do with the last thing I gave you? You did nothing? Okay, too bad. I'll come back when you do something with it. Because I gave you some good gems. I gave you some good gems.
But see, hold on. You, Vic, nobody on this panel would do that for somebody that isn't already attempting to do the work. True. Nobody would do something like that for somebody like that. I'm that somebody like that happened to be a part of a panel for over a year and some change. You understand what I'm saying? So a blanket statement like that, you got to differentiate because a lot of us really are stuck and we're doing the work, but we need people to see that we're doing the work and maybe give us a little nudge here or a nudge there. You understand what I'm saying?
That's why.
But there are some dudes out there that just don't want to do nothing and expect everything to be handed to them, or they try something and if it don't work in the first week, they quit because they want microwave results. So, I get that. You understand what I'm saying?
Something real small, and I think it's the difference between being stuck and moving slow, right? Because sometimes we move so slow that we may not actually see the results of moving so slow until some time down the road. So I think sometimes there is a group of men or category of men who sometimes think they're stuck, but they're really progressing, but they may be progressing slowly. But sometimes when you learn information, you don't know that you learned that information until an opportunity or to a situation presents itself in the future. So I don't want to get actually, no, I'll just leave it at that. Go ahead, Vic.
I believe that it depends on the effort of the individual to determine if they really are prepared to act on whatever information it takes to get out of their own way. And because a lot of people are stuck because they're in their own way, but a lot of people don't know why they're in their own way, because that's usually a issue that may be better sorted out in some sort of therapy. So a lot of people can't push past certain things because, like, man, I've had some therapy in my life in the last couple of months, and in terms of trying to complete this book, and like in terms of how it should be arranged. I know everything that needs to go in it. I know how it needs to be delivered. But I needed another nugget of information or a conversation or two that made the arrangement of my thoughts make sense. You know what I'm saying? Because I have to think from a different perspective. Yeah, I can write down whatever I want to say, and no matter how it's arranged, it's going to make sense in sections. But when you're trying to complete an entire vision, you know what I'm saying, that you're scripting for someone so they can see your thought process from beginning to end, and maybe take whatever digestible parts and implement into their own life. When you focus on solutions, it's got to make sense. And a lot of people are maybe stuck because, number one, their purpose isn't fully developed. They know they should be doing something, and they know that they have a better chance of having success in life if they're doing something. And then you got some people that know they need to do something, they can't get off their ass for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Or they may be moving slow, like Unc said, or they may not be moving at all. But overall, your obligation to the person to help them, that's subjective, because nobody owes anybody anything. Nobody owes anybody any understanding. But I think it's a privilege that if you have the ability to teach other people that are willing to help themselves, that you give that information, and that adds on to the legacy when you are a person of service and you believe that you're responsible for giving out the help that you would have appreciated at a different point in your life. Now, everybody that fits the dynamics of this conversation for healthy and unhealthy reasons, they're going to have whatever opinion they have. But we got to keep remembering this part. There are men that have not been raised by men, that do not have the plethora of experience to turn on certain nature-centric switches in their head so they can make the savage decisions that they have to make that they've never had to make before. Like when TJ was describing his rage towards his trainer until we had that conversation, like when you're talking to some men that's been trained by men, trained other men, led soldiers, and been under duress, our perspective on it, we start laughing when we hear about people struggling in the gym. Because guess what? We still struggle in the gym. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody has to pick a struggle. So it's either struggle with the plates, or you wait till you get in, you know what I'm saying, in the doctor's office, and the doctor tells you the same thing that you already knew you had to do. Is take your ass to the gym, eat better, make better decisions and better lifestyle choices. And everybody sees the same application of self-work, whether it's on the front end or the back end. In the middle, you just try to figure it out. So be fortunate, be thankful that you were raised with a father. That's just the bottom line. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you're raised without a father, you're operating on half the software. You're living in your feelings until you meet the facts.
Well, there you got it, ladies and gentlemen. Who else want to add? Actually, no. Let me.
It's always going to be a struggle in the gym. That's all I say. Because you're always going to go up in plates. You're always going to go up in weight, right? I just say if somebody wants advice from me, picture me on a track and I'm running. I'm saying, okay, run next to me. I'm gonna give you the advice. Now you can't run next to me because you're slow. Okay, wait till I make my turn, achieve my goals, come back and have your question ready. Then when I'm coming by you again, speed up and ask me the question. And I'm gonna keep doing that. But there's no way I'm gonna slow down to match your idiotic speed because you can't put two sentences together to ask me. I'm saying people need to speed up. The world is not waiting for you, and you should take on that. Nobody cares about you. They don't, because they got their own struggles, their own gym to go to, and their own weights to lift. And if you're going to train with somebody that looks the way you want to look. Don't train with somebody just as fat as you. What are you going to achieve with that? Sometimes you got to cut it loose. That's all I'm saying. You have to be hard on yourself, or don't be at all. It's like my father says, be the best or don't be at all. But if you come in second, at least you're amongst winners. That's all I'm saying. You know what? People don't understand. It's not the bronze, silver, or gold in the Olympics. You're in the Olympics. You already beat the rest of the world. So victory is not even important. It would be nice to win a medal, but how many people get to say they've been at the Olympics? I'm just saying, get to the Olympics. That's all I'm saying. And people have to get that mindset. Nobody is going to help you. And the ones that are going to help you, you have to run just as fast as them so you can hear their information. If you're running slow, go over there where the slow guys are, because they'll help you a lot better than me. With the successful ones, run fast. They don't slow down for you. They ask you to catch up to them. Rightfully so. It's the way it is. You want the best college? You have to have the grades. You don't have the grades? Oh, well, sucks to be you. Study harder. But I'm not going to lower the academic level to match you. And men need to know this. Men need to be told straight up to your face.
Shout out to Natasha Vincent. She's always over here supporting. She said she had to miss for a little bit. But she's over there on the she's a producer on the Bold and Driven EP. They got a whole bunch of things going on over there. So I dropped their link in there, and also drop Real Bravado Network's link too. So feel free whenever y'all get a chance, if you're watching, to go over there, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification button so you know when all of these good content and all this new content drops. And then you can be part of it. Yeah, man. You remember they already been on the show a couple of times. Where the guy has. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. Do y'all think that there are specific life stages or transitional periods where individuals are more prone to experiencing this feeling of being stuck? I will say yes. I think one of them for a lot of people, especially what I see nowadays, is right out of high school. I think I've seen some kids now who, and I was there. Honestly, I was there right after high school. Is like, what do I do after high school? Do I go into the military? Do I go to college? Do I go and play sports like I've been telling everybody for the last 4 years of high school? You know what I mean? Like, do I go work at the plant? You know what I mean? So I think that's a huge period where guys can get stuck. And I think sometimes they can stay there for a long time. You know what I mean? I think, and if you do, I think it makes it a lot harder on you going forward because you're starting from just not having a plan. And I get it. Like I said, we all were there. You know what I mean? We all graduated high school at one point, and then we all at some point had to move out of our parents' house. And it looked different for everybody. But I think, one of those big transitional periods where men may be prone to experiencing being stuck is right out of high school. And I would just say this one real quick, and it's right after you may retire or get out of the military too. But I think I'm gonna go for this one. I'm gonna go with high school, but I definitely interested in hearing what everybody else have to say.
I think life post-military is a big deal, and I say that because after I got out, I've been out for 10 years now. So many people that were my peers when I was still in have been calling me because they've graduated their kids. They're getting ready to retire, 22 years and however much time they got. They're still pretty young and they got a lot of resources and still don't know which way to, point their resources. So, and they feel stuck. And I'm like, you got all of your resources that cover all of your bills taken care of, and they thinking about going to go get a job because they're so stuck. Because the number one thing that they go, but everybody goes back to how they were raised when they were, when they get stuck, they go back, they revert back to whatever logic that they were raised with by their parents. That's why, like, when you go to school as a kid, you say, well, my mom taught me this or my dad taught me that, and you're grading the teacher to see if the teacher is telling you things that are in line with how you were taught. So that's a form of being stuck too. So I would say life post-military is pretty much a big deal.
High school is definitely a key. I'd say high school, that was a good one. High school is definitely where you get stuck because you don't know, what are you gonna study? Sometimes you don't even know what you want to study. So yeah, that's definitely a big stuck period right there. I'd say take some time to think about it, but or see a counselor at school. Yeah, but definitely high school.
For me, I'm gonna say if you're a guy, if you ended a marriage, a long-term marriage. I remember when mine ended and I moved into this apartment complex. I didn't know anything about it. I just knew it was cheap because, when marriage ends, your finances get obliterated. So it was cheap. But I found out shortly that in this 16-unit building that there were 10 other residents who were divorced men. So we called the building the divorcee building that we were in, and you're just stuck. And what I didn't realize I was stuck because right around that time that happened, I is when I went to start training to become a registered respiratory therapist for critical care. And so I've just put all my focus and energy into that. And then I got a daughter, being out here being reckless outside of, and got a daughter. And then so my energy I became focused on and didn't realize I was being stuck because I had distractions, and not necessarily the most productive distractions, but I can definitely understand like guys coming out of that situation, not knowing what to do next. Not really understanding what to do next, especially when everything that you were was tied up in that union.
Got nothing, Chris?
If I'd known better, boy. If I'd known, man, I wish I would have. I didn't meet my dad until after I married this woman. Boy. Ain't no way in the world I should have been married to that woman.
Did he put you on game?
My dad?
Yeah, like when
my dad's a simp.
Oh shoot!
Hey,
that ain't his fault. That's not his fault. That is not his fault.
So you get simp information fed into you, good, bad, or indifferent.
Actually, most of my information about this stuff, believe it or not, has come from my grandfather, my father's father. That sucker is that dude.
The OG.
I think, I don't know if I said it here, but I think I've said it before on a podcast. I didn't know that there was anything wrong with my manhood until I met my dad's father, and I ran into him. And he old school, buzzsaw, no nonsense. He ain't nothing but dynamite. You know what I mean?
Your lips off.
Yes. And so me and this man got into a whole argument. I'm cutting his grass in the backyard, and I don't remember what the argument was about because it probably was petty. But what was my first? Nothing changed, but it was the first crack into something was wrong with me is when he was standing there. I could tell he wanted to hit me, but he was standing there and he said, "I can't talk to you. You sound too much like a woman." And he walked away from me. Now, instead of me accepting that at that time, of course, it got worse. Because I'm talking about my reaction, because I really blew up then, because I was so offended.
But his point.
You had to prove his point.
Yep. And it took about another 2 years before that statement made sense to me. That was the second time.
Remember when I said earlier, you could be present for the information, but if you don't have the experience, you still can't use the information properly, right?
Yep.
So that's how important the currency of relationships is more important than money.
Yes.
Because if you got money and no relationship that can help you, point it in the right direction, point your energy in the right direction, and give you a good ego stroke for your mindset, you're not going to be able to, you're going to take everything as an offense, as an attack, as something that you need to respond to in some kind of way. You're going to only be listening to respond and not solve problems.
Yep. And it was about this. It was a progression because my grandfather sat, because he's not the sit down and talk to kind of a guy. He's the, I'm going to tell you and you go do it kind of a guy, So I was about 36 or so, 37. And this is the beginning. And this is towards the end of my marriage. This is the beginning of, okay, I think I might have been screwed, because he sat down and told me that. He goes, I'm not trying to knock what your grandmother did. He goes, I wasn't there. Your father wasn't there. Your grandma did what she can do, but she didn't teach you how to be a man because she couldn't. And he goes, you got to figure out what that is real fast. You're on a trajectory where you're going to be broke, homeless, and without a woman. I mean,
that's as real as you can put it.
Yeah.
what else was I supposed to say at that point?
Another grown
Thank
man
you.
on the path of being. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
And I never said that to him. And
Thank
this is my
you.
grandfather.
And you
This
should
is
have
my
shook his hand and you should have hugged him like he gave you the most wisest information that anybody could have ever given you ever in your life.
Yeah,
You should be eternally grateful for that.
I
Because I never
now.
got that. And I'm actually upset that I never got that.
I got it's one
I
thing.
like how Chris always remember that he's still upset.
Yeah, I'm always pissed off.
I got that, and it still took me about another. I just started rounding into doing the work until I was about 38 and a half. And then a lot of it started coming together. And it just took time, took seasoning, and it took me being able to reflect and being smart enough to reflect on the information and realize he was, what was being said. And then I got angry. Because it was first time I understood
Chris.
that I did not know what I did not know.
Come on, Chris.
And then I felt robbed, completely and utterly robbed out of some stuff. And so
Thank
here we
you.
are now. We're 6 years past it. There's been a lot of progress, but there's still a lot of more work to go. I mean, the TJ now and the TJ then, you guys wouldn't recognize them. You wouldn't recognize back then. Ain't no hope for that guy. Ain't no hope for that guy.
Back
This
then
guy
they
sitting
didn't
here,
want me.
Yeah, this guy
I'm
now.
hot and they all want me.
Look, but tell me something. Look, my woman told me the other day about she was mad about something like the way I said something. I wouldn't years ago I wouldn't have did this. I looked her dead in her face. I said, I don't give a damn that you don't like what I got to say. Just follow it. And if you can't follow it, you know where the door at.
You are damn right.
I think you just gave Chris a freaking
Listen, man. Listen, do you
a
hear?
stiffy.
Do you hear what he
It made
said?
his pants
Do you
hurt.
understand
made Chris
why
pants
I'm
hurt.
always mad? He just broke it down. This is why I am always pissed off. I'm pissed off because I'm learning this shit too late, but I can't really be mad because they only taught me what they knew. So I'm mad that I can't be mad, but I'm mad. You understand
But
what
you're
I'm saying?
mad. Yes.
Dang.
And you wish you could be mad at something or someone.
Right.
But you can't. You just, damn it, you just mad. It's so. And let me tell you something. I'm as a person that's coming on the other side of that, because I'm coming on the up on the other side of that. It's normal, man. It's called growth. But once you, the next step is going to be accepting it and then doing something. Once you accept it, then whatever happened back then is just what happened. And then you'll see how fast, believe it or not, when you accept it and you start working, it moves fast, bruh. It moves fast. And then your confidence to do what you need to be done. That's something else. And I'm like, oh, that worked.
Yep. And then it get easy.
Yeah.
What
It
you got,
starts
Chris?
to get easy.
She sat our ass down. That worked. Or let me tell you something. It even worked. It even works on the job. I takes no crap on the job. That doesn't mean I'm confrontational or whatever the case may be. I'm strategic about it. But the first time I see somebody going sideways, I used to try to be like, nah. I hit it right on. I hit it hard, especially if it's another dude doing it. My God, he get the next time this happened, man. It's gonna be F this job. It's a little bit different with the ladies, but you gotta, but it gives you the confidence to.
Your self-awareness is different.
Yep, and to self-advocate, the confidence to do it and to do it strategically, so you don't mess up your money and stuff like that. It's something else.
Hey, I really want to hear Chris's response to this, because this is something that we hear on a weekly basis from Chris, but the way you're coming from TJ, Chris is really resonating with this. And I am too, from where I used to be. I remember, like you said, just feeling frustrated, but can't really feel frustrated. But I really want to tap into the mind of the angry guy that is still learning and see what he has to say on this.
On what specifically?
Everything that he said. Like when he was talking about, just now getting it, the conversations that he had with his grandfather, and you were like, yes, like all of this stuff.
I have been saying it since my first day on this panel. I have been saying that I got this information too late. And now that I got this information, I only have this small amount of time. At least society will make it think like I only have this small amount of time to implement it. Like I got to do it now. And when you're not doing it now, you feel like, okay, what am I doing wrong when I'm following all the steps? You understand what I'm saying? Like, so listen, man, I understand. I just wish I would have got the same advice that your grandfather gave you 20 years ago.
Yeah, me too. But I got it late too. But the thing is, once you get it, the biggest thing to deal with is the fact that you're angry that you got it late. Because all of the opportunities, all of the situations that you were in, they all flashed before you in that moment. Like everyone that you screwed up, could have gotten better, could have done this, could have done that, could have handled. All of that flashes when you understand that you got the information late. You gotta reconcile that, and then you can move. You can't do nothing about it. That 30 years, 40 years, it's gone. Yes, you got to do it quickly, but you don't have to do it today.
And that's the thing. I'm glad you said that, because the impression that the general populace of men have is that they have to do it today. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I said earlier, man. It's like a overbearing, quite frankly, unnecessary weight that we have to carry to always be doing something. You understand what I'm saying?
This is what I've decided to do with it. So for the last 5 years, I've decided of all of these things that I need to do, I decided every birthday that I was going to start the next one. And that will be the thing I worked on for that year. This birthday, this past May, was to get the health in order. There was to get the money right. There was to clear house with the woman. There was all of that stuff, and now it's the health. So that's the only thing I'm concerned about. I still got another few things I need to do that I want to work on, that I want to check off but this year, it's all about the health, because even in your journey, you're going to fail. You're going to be up and down, up and down, up and down. Man, I've been up and down since May more times than I care to. I've been on my meal now, the healthy eating now for a month and a half straight. Now that I've gotten a month and a half by under me, ain't no way in hell I'm going backwards. Because I would do a week, mess up. Do 2 weeks, mess up. Do 3 days, mess up. I didn't got about 7 weeks. I can't mess up no more, because the goal is the goal. And I've never been in my life, I've never not met a goal. And I'm not going to start with this one, because I go into the gym with my personal trainer, and 10 minutes later, I'm sucking air on the damn ground. You know what I mean? I just want to walk out. No, I get up, and whatever little strength I can muster up, I finish up. Whatever he doing, chirping in my ear, he just chirping. And
but it's fair to say, TJ and Chris, no one's saying you have to start now. But God damn it, put a time limit on when you're going to start. Like, yes. Put a date on it, man. Something.
That's why he said he put it on the calendar, work on one thing at a time, which is why I said earlier.
I start on my birthday. I started
a whole year?
I'm going to take a year.
Wait a whole year?
If I get no, Antoine, hold on. I didn't wait a whole year. When I said, what are the first 5 things I want to do? And when I outlined what those first 5 things I wanted to do, I said, okay, I'm gonna start the first one on this date, which was my birthday. That happened to be 4 months ahead of time. And then, but now every time my birthday roll around, by the time my next birthday roll around, I've either accomplished that goal or on the verge of it, and now it's time to start the next one.
Right.
So each individual goal has a start and end date, and everything in between is up to me. And if I don't meet that, I failed. Did nobody fail me? Like when I had the money, I wanted to get 40 grand in my bank account because I wanted to buy a home, and I gave myself 1 year to do it. Good. And
That's what it should be.
I ended up with way more than 40 grand.
There you go. See?
You know what I mean? You understand? And but that required a lot of other stuff. Okay, how do I get to this 40 grand? So that required me to do things. Okay, I got to increase on this particular job. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to go work in the COVID units because they give an extra $60 an hour to go in the COVID unit. Plus, if you pick up, you get about $1,000. So it took all of that. So I'm not saying that you delay things for a year. I'm saying, you don't have to do all 5 things or all 10 things at once. You pick on you one. And let me tell you something. It's very motivating to sit back and see over the last 4 years everything that I've accomplished. You know what I mean? Because it's like, okay, wow, that is a lot. But in the moment, it just seemed like it was one thing. But also that one thing, there are other things tied to that. So guess what's going to happen? You know what I mean? I'm tied to so I dropped 50 pounds. Guess what? I get to buy a new wardrobe. I can't get, I wear 3X shirts and your size 46 pants. You know how hard it is to shop for that? What if I'm down to a 2X and then a 40 pant? Oh, now we're doing something. My suits don't hang on me right no more. Now we doing something. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
I love it, man. I freaking love it. Hey, man, we got about to wrap it up. We got
Oh man, that time then flew.
Man, you need to address the fake beard comment.
What?
Somebody said my man beard fake.
Hey, bro, he said, Unkle Junior, I'm sorry if this offends you, but your beard looks fake, my guy. Hey,
that's what people say when they ain't ready to offend you.
I'm in that, bro. You know how people go through the in-between stage when they growing their hair out? I'm in between like the salt and pepper and the black, like it ain't doing what it want to do, but
that is amazing.
Yeah, it's all real. Like it ain't too much up here. You know what I'm saying? But I got it down here. But with that being said, man, whoever said that, I really appreciate your comment. Really appreciate it. What we're gonna do right now, we're gonna slide through. We're gonna end the show with the final thoughts. We're gonna go around the horn. We're gonna go to Chris. I think Antoine, Vic, and then TJ. Hold on, let me find my buttons, folks. All right, here we go. Bro, man, because I be getting so wrapped up in the conversation sometimes I forget, like, bro, you got to click all of these buttons and do all of this other stuff. So, here we go.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay. I guess my final thought would be this. It's okay to be stuck, but it's not okay to stay stuck being stuck. If that makes any sense. Like it's okay it's okay. It's a human emotion when you're accomplishing a goal and you feel like the steps that you were taking are not getting you there as fast as you think they should get you there. It's okay. Find a way to move, find a way to navigate and get to the goal, get to the end game. The end game is all that matters. The end game is all that matters. Stay disciplined because motivation only lasts for a handful of moments. Discipline is what's going to get you where you need to be. That's my final thought.
I want to say it's not okay to be stuck. If you're being stuck, that means you ain't doing nothing. All right? That means you're not doing anything. Stuck means I'm not doing anything. If you're stuck, you have to be doing something. You have to get yourself motivated. How do you get yourself motivated? By bettering you. And I always tell people when they go to the gym, the first step is to take the fork out of your mouth. You ain't going to you can work out all you want, but if you go back home and eat it, you just took away the whole entire gym, the whole entire effort you put into the gym. So you have to be consistent with everything right across the board. Nobody is supposed to hand you nothing. People are supposed to help you, but you got to move at their pace. No one's going to slow down to help you because you're only going to keep them back because that's how it works. So if you want to be at that level, you have to run just as fast as them or strive to run just as fast as them. And have your questions ready for when you meet that person and be consistent with your life. Don't look for no handouts. There's no such thing as a handout. If you're a handout, that means you're a burden and you shouldn't be a burden on anybody. If somebody gives you knowledge, the next question to you is, what did you do with the knowledge I gave you? If you didn't do nothing with the knowledge I gave you, why am I wasting my time talking to you again? Now you're wasting my time, and it just shows to you what the knowledge I gave you in the first place. You didn't do nothing with it, so you wasted my time. So now you're back at zero, feeling sorry for yourself. And let me tell you something: if you want to aspire to do better, you got to be better. My goodness, man, what is this? You don't have a victimhood mentality because nobody's coming to save you. Keep thriving. Men should keep moving forward. If you got one job that ain't paying the bills, go out and get a second one. There's 24 hours in a day. And find time to work out too. Better yourself. You have no choice but to put it into 24 hours. All right? You'll have enough time to sleep when you're dead. But until then, work hard. You want that lifestyle? Fine. That lifestyle costs this. The sacrifices you have to make. You have to make these sacrifices to move forward. And if you're not willing to make a sacrifice, then stay back there. But don't burden somebody that can help you. Don't be somebody's anchor. Nobody wants you. I wouldn't want you. What would I want you for? You're slowing me down. But if I'm helping you and you're making use of the information, now we're talking. Now it's worth it for me to help you because you're not wasting my time. So again, once again, always keep striving to do better. Being stuck just means you're not doing nothing. And if you get stuck, make yourself active. Better yourself first so you get active. You know, it's like that. It's like they say, the harder you work out, the less you want to eat. And the harder you work out, the better stuff you want to eat for fuel. Same way in life. That's it.
Antoine, listen, being stuck. If you go through this life long enough, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get stuck at some point. The point. Sometimes the point of being stuck is to reevaluate where you are and where you need to go. To Antoine's point, when you do get stuck, you can't just sit there and wallow in it. You can always take a mourning period of whatever you want to do. You can take a couple beats and feel bad for yourself, but at the end of the day, like Antoine and like a lot of guys will tell you, no one's coming, especially if you're a male and especially if you're a black male in this country, no one's coming to your rescue. You cannot have the expectation that everyone's going to be your mother. They're not going to be. The only person who's coming to your rescue is your mama, and that's a bad thing if your mama got to come to your rescue. And so I understand because I've gone through it. I know what that feels like. I know how to come on the other side of it. And I know what it is when you're going through it. It's not necessarily the easiest thing, and it can feel very isolating. But that's part of the process. The process is what can then, after when you're in there, then the true test of yourself is, what do you do to get yourself out of that situation? And damn sure no one's going to come help you if you're not doing anything for yourself. So that's my final thoughts.
Right. So tonight we discussed about feeling stuck, strategies when you're feeling stuck. And 3 words that came to mind while I was thinking about my final thoughts were routine, consistency, and resilience. And the reason that these words pair very well with each other is that first, you got to have routine. You got to have some consistency to abide by the routine. And consistency does have discipline built into it. And resilience, because to capture the spaces where TJ spoke on, you're going to fail. You have to leave room for failure. And that's what resilience is very important. Because you can only have the outcomes that reflect your personal accountability and dedication to your purpose. Meaning that if you believe that you're supposed to have better, then you're going to work harder and you're going to document your own progress so you can see how close you are to your goal and how much more effort you need to commit to it if you believe in your purpose. So with that being said, routine, consistency, and resilience, and you can only have the outcomes that reflect your personal accountability and dedication to your purpose.
Hey, man, I appreciate all y'all final thoughts. I appreciate all y'all being here tonight, adding your perspective, adding your insight, and all your knowledge and information to this conversation tonight. I appreciate everybody who is here watching in the chat, whether you're live, whether you're at home, whether you're on Real Bravado Network, VIX Network, Code Talk, wherever you are tonight. I appreciate you for being here tonight. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, We will be back next week, same time, 8. No, what time? I forgot. It's been a long week already. 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the Unkle Junior Network. You can follow us. Make sure you subscribe, like, and follow to the Code Talk over on Vic's platform. Chris about to revamp his thing on YouTube, so check out his channel. You can find him in Facebook or different places like that, and also the Real Bravado Network. TJ, again, I appreciate you for coming up. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, see y'all next week. We are out.